very juicy and somewhat intense but really important topic, which is the kind of things that I help men either solve if they're a problem or work around or increase their confidence around in the men's coaching program that I am promoting for the next 5 weeks. It's called Extraordinary. And I'm going to put the link in the comments right away, so if you're curious, you can check it out. Um, Perfect. All right. So I'm going to jump right into today's topic. So there are some pretty common themes in my sessions when I work with men around their sexuality and their relationships and their lovemaking. So I'm just going to move my notes up a little bit. Uh, Maybe. There we go. Okay. So, I want to validate that if you're spending time thinking about these things, it's actually normal and very common. And I want to help men release some of the shame and secrecy around talking about and spending time cultivating tools and techniques that help with these topics. So I'm really passionate about that because even over like the past like 18 years, I see a lot of insecurity and concern around these same topics like over and over and over again. So I really want to normalize um, also just like talking about these things with other people because I think that that helps release a lot of stigma and shame that comes up around especially men's sexuality. So, the first one that I want to talk about helped me name this program, which is being an extraordinary lover. And from what I've noticed, a lot of times, like, the way that men frame this in their own minds is like being the best lover. And yeah, sometimes this can kind of be like an ego thing or a competitive thing for some men, but usually men just really want to know that their partners are really being satisfied. And having mastery over their sexuality and confidence um, with their sexuality also go along with this first theme. But sometimes it can also look like wanting to feel good during sex, wanting to feel confident during sex, and reliably being able to show up in the bedroom with that kind of confidence. So then another theme is feeling sexually attractive and successful. So, knowing that within the context of consensual sexuality, you're able to have sex with the people that you're attracted to. This could look like being magnetic when you're at the bar or the club or on a date, or having the people that you think are hot wanting to have sex with you and be attracted to you. Another common theme is being successful in long term relationships or marriages. So this can look like one partner having a higher libido than the other, wanting to have sex more frequently than the other, and feeling rejected when your partner doesn't return that attraction and that affection, um, or even if it's not returned immediately, and that causes a feeling of rejection. Sometimes it looks like going for long periods of time without having sex with your partner. And sometimes it could look like going through a sexual health issue and your partner not really understanding or having compassion or being like what you would consider reasonable around this health issue. So that leads to the next theme, which is working on sexual health issues in a way that is integrative and holistic. So these issues could be erectile dysfunction, um, premature ejaculation, or even if it's not really premature, just getting off before you want to get off. This could be feeling compulsive about watching porn or challenges like these, right? So, I'm not a doctor or any kind of expert in men's physiology, but it's not unusual for men to misdiagnose themselves, especially around like those three items that I mentioned. So, I want to normalize that, like, if you occasionally lose an erection, especially if it's in the first 3 months of being intimate with a new partner, um, or even if you have like a little bit of shyness or performance anxiety, this is totally normal. Or like if you watch porn like 3 or 4 or 5 times a week, um, also normal, right? And this can still be considered within the healthy end of the spectrum for these things. So a lot of the time, men use things like this to shame themselves for being imperfect. And I know that sometimes that's how men challenge themselves to change. And it's also like totally not a loving or accepting way of doing that. So that's where we bring in the holistic and integrative pieces where we acknowledge where you're at and you offer yourself some compassion around these things that are totally normal. Um, so, yeah, I just want to encourage you to be kind to yourself and have some compassion towards your body and your desires. And also, sometimes it turns out that these symptoms can be an indication of deeper health issues like heart conditions, diabetes, prostate issues, which can hinder your sexual functioning. But it's also definitely important to be curious when these symptoms show up, and to be in touch with a doctor in case it is like an indication of something underlying that. So, um, learning holistic sex techniques can be really supportive and nourishing for you around these. Another theme is being able to master your sexual performance. So, this could be understanding your ejaculation, understanding that you can last as long as you want to, that you can feel intimately connected to your body and to your penis, and that you're achieving optimum sexuality. Another topic is connecting sex and love. I notice that this happens a lot in hookup culture where you're kind of encouraged to dissociate feelings of being loving with somebody that you're fucking or having sex with, right? So, um, a lot of times this feels like your heart is disconnected from your penis. And so we can do some different techniques to connect the two so that you can not only love people that you're having sex with, but have sex with people that you love. Um, and then another theme that comes up a lot is being empowered to connect with your sexuality instead of seeing it as something evil or bad or sinful or wrong, really reclaiming that as something to be proud of, to embrace, to include in your life goals, and really being able to connect with and follow your impulses rather than kind of like stifling your sexuality. And this is kind of similar, but kind of deepening on that is unwinding conditioning. So this could be religious conditioning, this could be societal conditioning. Like I know that a lot of the more empathetic and just like emotional men that I am friends with and that run around in my circles were deeply impacted by the Me Too movement, where they just felt so much compassion for the women that were hurt by other men that they kind of did assume that like all men's sexuality is harmful and hurtful, and that when you um, have sex, like especially with a woman, that you're taking something away from her, or regardless of the gender of your partner, that if you go too hard or if you become too wild, that you're going to harm or hurt your partner. And yes, of course, like it's always important to have communication around these ideas, but sometimes your partner wants something a little more wild or a little more unrestrained, right? So through these processes, you're releasing shame, um, kind of um, Sorry, I cannot even read these notes. So when you feel shut down and disempowered around your sexuality, there's always this option to reclaim your body, especially your penis or your cock, and reclaiming your desire outside of these societal expectations. So if you want to be naked and feel like your body is something natural and even handsome or beautiful, um, instead of feeling like, it's disgusting and it's shameful and it should be hidden and people will recoil like a flasher, like I bet that there are tons of people that want to see you naked. So really just like shifting your perspective on these ideas and setting the expectation of the things that you want to have happen. So if you want to take off your pants or take off your robe and have like your partner say, wow, like really getting comfortable with claiming that for yourself, right? Um, yeah, so I'm just going to show you how to get what you want in a way that's empowering for you. Um, so instead of like giving you rules or scripts or expecting you to be someone that you're not or become someone that you're not really comfortable being, like butching up or showing up as a man, or even like being more soft or being more loving. Like if you just have no desire around that and you just want to be fierce and dominant and butch, or if you want to show up like you cannot imagine showing up in some of these ways that society expects, like emotionless. We're gonna dig around and we're gonna find what feels really, really, really good and soothing and confidence boosting for you. So, I'm going to guide you into ways where you connect with yourself, your inner, authentic, deep self, and do so deeply that you can listen to your own impulses and have the confidence to explore these impulses, maybe at a deeper level than you've ever really felt safe to do so before. And a lot of times this taps into a deeper wisdom as well. So um, I definitely don't want to discount. Like, I know that there's so much talk about like womb wisdom and pussy wisdom, and there's a lot of like pushback around like cock wisdom or penis wisdom, but there are these very natural impulses, and a lot of times they do circle around like procreation, survival, things like that. And if that's the level that you're at, I want to help you explore that, because especially at that survival level, I think there is a lot of wisdom in that area of your body. And if you get a little bit higher vibration, it's also your creative source as well. So just because you don't have a womb and you're not carrying a child for 9 months doesn't mean that you aren't essential to creating life as well. So um, when you're able to not only understand but also like harness and work in tandem with and in sync with these natural impulses, a lot of times I notice just like an explosion of creativity, curiosity, seeing the world in new ways, and seeing new pathways in order to create, whether it's like work related goals or relationship related goals, where all of a sudden it's like you have this generator of energy available to you to support new things and to forge new pathways. So um, I really look forward to opening this up to more people. Because sometimes, and this is why I really love one on one work, especially with men. Well, I mean, especially with anybody, but it creates this like really safe container where we curate something tailor made just for you based on your anxieties and your fears, but also on the things that really spark your curiosity and really spark your passion. So I'm really looking forward to finding these things and what they look like for you and channeling them to bring about your goals and your passions and things that excite you and make you feel alive. So I'm going to pop the link in the comment box again. And if you tuned into last week's, I decided not to do a buy now button. It just didn't feel in alignment. Um, So you can totally sign up for coaching without having to do a discovery call if you don't want to, but I would love to like kind of check in with your expectations and your goals before we start our first session, because we really like hit the ground running during the first session. So whether it's just arranging whether you're going to make the payments in one payment or three payments and what days of the week we're meeting, I would really love to touch base with you before receiving that payment and having you sign the disclosure documents. I don't have what to expect during a discovery call page yet. That's next on my to-do list. But I really felt like getting the solid information about the program out was more important than that. So next Monday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, I'm gonna do a live stream on the different topics that we'll be covering during the coaching session. And if you want that information now, it's on the sales page. So you can check out the layout for that. And then if you have any questions, you can bring those to the session next week, the live stream next week. So, um, yeah, I think that's everything. Oh, and just a quick reminder, this is the final week that I'm doing the early bird sign up rate. So it's a third of the cost off. So two-thirds of the cost of the normal price. And all that information is on the page in the link. So, all right, I'm sending you lots of love. Mwah. Can't wait to see you next Monday, and have a great week.